Okay, I will now call this meeting of the Township Joint Board of Management to order, and I will start with our land acknowledgement statement. We acknowledge with respect the history, spirituality, and culture of the Anishinaabe, the people of the Three Fires known as Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi Nation, who have inhabited this land from time immemorial, and further give thanks to the Chippewas of Saugeen and the Chippewas of Nawash, now known as the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, as the traditional keepers of this land. We also recognize the Métis and Inuit, whose ancestors shared this land and these waters. May we all, as treaty people, live with respect on this land and live in peace and friendship with all its diverse peoples. Moving on, are there any additions to the agenda today? Seeing none, the recommendation is that the agenda be approved as presented. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Keaveney, Councillor Winters, Deputy Mayor Keaveney, my apologies. Is there any discussion? I will call the vote. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. If there's any declaration of pecuniary interest, that can be declared at any time during the meeting. Minutes of the last meeting. So the recommendation that the minutes of the February 21st, 2023 Township Fire Department meeting be approved. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Deputy Mayor Pringle, Councillor Bartlett. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I will call the vote. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. So delegations and public question period, there aren't any on the agenda today, but we do like to read out that any person who wishes to appear before committee of the whole or on any of our committees regarding an item on the agenda shall make written application to the clerk by 10 a.m. the day of the meeting. To register, simply go to georgianbluffs.ca/delegations or call the clerk's office at 519-376-2729, extension 603. There is no correspondence today, so we're on to staff reports. The year-end report, the recommendation that report ITFD 2023-03 be received for information. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Bartlett, Councillor Winters, and I will turn it over to whoever is going to speak to this report.
Yes, just a quick overview of it, of the report. 286 calls. Just a quick breakdown. We had 87 were in Meaford, 181 in Georgian Bluffs, and then we had a variety throughout the township, other townships, municipalities with the air light truck. So that's just a quick breakdown. Just the biggest thing last year was the mandatory certification through the OFM. Just to kind of address that is, since this report was written, we got audited through the OFM for legacy training. So technically, right now in our Township Fire Department, we're fully certified to Interior, AutoX through the Ontario legislation. So we have firefighters that are fully certified through the NFPA. The rest, we did 14, which more of our senior members that didn't do the courses through the college. So we have 14 that were legacy. So we're compliant now with the OFM to be fully certified for interior operation and audits. So now the next thing is the specialized stuff, which we're still reaching or looking for more information. So that's, since that last report, I just thought I would touch on that. But I didn't know if anybody had any questions on that report.
Does anyone have any questions? Councillor Bartlett, go ahead.
Thank you. Just this training that is still outstanding, is it 10% of the training you need, or 5%, or is it that much? And I know we don't have a clue who's going to be doing it.
Yeah, the specialized stuff, it's actually, I don't know what percentage I could throw on that, but it's going to be the more taxing for the training part. It's more specialized stuff, and we're not sure what the fire marshal's office is doing yet with regards to training. We could be bringing outside agencies in to certify us to these levels. So that's going to be, those are 40-hour courses. They're a lot time consuming. There's a lot of unknowns in that area. We got to 2028 to receive that, to have everybody up to speed. So once I mean, you as our authority having jurisdiction or our councils, we need to set that level of service or where we need to be. Those are the conversations we're going to need. That'll tell us what path we need to go down with the specialized training. So it's high angle ice water. AutoX is now for heavy equipment like trucks and buses is now you have to be certified in that. So we're waiting for that information from the OFM to so we can move forward with that.
I guess 2028 is the deadline?
Yes. And 2026 for the firefighter certification. We're in great shape that way. That's a lot of stress off. Like Andy and I we did a lot of, our training records were kept well enough and up to where we needed to be to have our guys, when we got audited, we passed that with no problems. We're still waiting for formal letters, but as a verbal talking to the AS&E, they said, yes, we passed. They're sending out letters and then everybody will get certificates too that are done through the legacy. So that's the Ontario certification. Same level as NFPA, but it's just in Ontario.
Thank you.
Yep.
Deputy Mayor Keaveney, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Chair Carlton. And I just wondered, Jeff, if I could ask in relation to that, are there opportunities to partner or collaborate with other neighboring departments for those more specific training exercises?
Yeah, we have been talking to our neighbors about how we can move forward, but we're also in the same boat, waiting for the information on what their expectations are. They're saying we need it, but they're not telling us a whole lot on how we get that. So we're waiting for that information. And I think they were talking later this summer coming out with ice water part and high angle maybe in the fall. We're still waiting for that information. And then, yeah, definitely for sure working with the neighbors. It's been talked and we're still talking about this. Yeah, definitely.
Go ahead, Councillor Winters.
Thank you through you to Jeff or Andy there. The air light rescue truck that you mentioned, the Intertownship houses that. When it goes out to other municipalities, are our costs recuperated for that? Do we bill for that?
Yes, we have a cost recovery, full wages and expenses like fuel, and the manpower is always compensated. So if we send the air light truck, they do get invoiced.
Okay, seeing no other questions, thank you both of you for making sure that training's up to where it's supposed to be. That helps us out here. So
Well, I can't say enough for Andy. Like Andy's been like he's took on the training portion, so he's been keeping the records up, and we've worked together getting our program set up so it's going to function for us. So moving forward, our record should be seamless. So you'll be able to come in someday and say, hey, I want to see Andy's record or my record. We can push one button and you'll be able to see everything said, all like our job performance reviews, they're all going to be on there. And that's the stuff that Andy on his end has been doing. So we're where we need to be at this time.
excellent.
Yeah, just to throw in on that is that it's all about maintenance too. Just because you're certified doesn't mean you have to keep up maintenance. Province is going to be coming. That will be next. So that's why all our training now, we're actually still doing what's called JPRs or skill sheets. And we sign off our people, even though they are fully certified. Every time they do their training, they do the actual province certifications on those JPRs. They're all documented and signed, so it keeps us all current.
Excellent. Good. Thank you. So I will call the vote on that one then. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Next item is Treasury Department. Recommendation is that report FIN 2023-06 2023 Q1 financial update be received for information. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Deputy Mayor Pringle and Deputy Mayor Keaveney. We'll turn it over to Samantha for any comments on that one.
Thank you. And through you, I don't have much to update. I just do want to let this board know that we are still working on the formatting of how this will be coming forward to the board. So please do not be alarmed if over the next few meetings, the formatting and presentation of the information does change. But I'm happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions? Can I just ask one, what is the reason for changing the formatting? Are we back to the same accessibility and, okay. Thank you. Okay, I will call the vote then. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Human Resources, recommendation that report HR 2023-05, collective bargaining agreement negotiations 2023 be received for information. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Winters, Councillor Bartley. I will turn it over to Crystal for any comments.
I don't have really anything further to add to the report unless there's questions.
Are there any questions on that report? Seeing none, I will call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. No unfinished business. New business, a verbal update on truck number 5. Jeff, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, for a little bit there, we were struggling getting information for the repairs on trucks. So last week we did get to have a meeting with Intact. So we had Lindsay and Chris from Intact as well as Jody from Expressway. They met with Sam, Andy, and myself. We had a meeting on the progress of this truck, where it's been going. So after conversation with Jody and talking about the truck, they're looking at the end of June, maybe in July sometime, barring no issues with parts. We still have 90% of the parts are in. It's that 10% that they're not sure of. So at this point, they're thinking the end of June, maybe 1st of July, but they can't pin an exact date of when it's going to be done. So that's kind of what he threw out there, because we were pressing them for a time for this to be done. It's been long enough. So so that at the end of this, when they're done with it, Expressway's done with it, it'll be going to 1200 degrees, which Darge Fire, they're emergency vehicle technicians, so they'll be taking it back to their hall or their repair station, and it'll be PDI, so pre-delivery inspection, which we'll be attending, whether Andy and I both go or one of us go. We're going to we got some mechanics that work for the fire hall, so we're hoping to take them as well, so we can have a good overview, because we want this thing to come back 100% different than that. So, and then moving forward, we'll be receiving weekly updates from them on Mondays. So, which we did receive one yesterday, and that update is they're putting the bell housing back on the motor, and they're hoping to have it back in the motor into the truck at the end of the month, and kind of where they're going to go next week moving forward. But we're looking maybe to attend, depending on timing, and maybe taking a drive down to Expressway and having a look at the truck in progress to see the progress of that as well.
Sorry. I just want to ask a question for anybody that's watching online. What brought truck number 5 to this point? Is this the truck that was in the accident, or we could just have a little background there, please?
Yeah, that's the truck that was the NBC at spring back in December. So I don't know if you have anything to add, Sam? Maybe you remembered.
Not really something to add. I just want to reiterate what Jeff has been saying. Staff have been trying since December 17th, when the accident occurred, to get updates. We've received, I believe it's 2 supplementals with estimates, and neither estimate was remotely reasonable as to what was going to actually needed done. The first one said it was going to cost only $5,000, which was not appropriate, and it only had, I think, 10 line items. So we had to push back to get a more detailed one. And again, I don't think it fully captures everything. So we're still waiting on another supplemental to actually know what all is being fixed. But we will be watching and monitoring and waiting for those weekly updates. And if we are not receiving them, we will be contacting Intact and Expressway to find out why.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you very much, Chair Carlton. And I just wondered if I could ask in relation to, as well as the updates on the truck repairs, are there any other updates from the accident? Do we know any other outcomes that may arise from what happened?
Nothing at this time. There's been, yeah, no charges or anything late as a date. Nothing else from the police or that side. It's just insurance we're having issues with.
Okay, thank you. So we don't have any motion to make there, so we can move on. Board inquiries and comments. Does any member have anything to ask or comments to make? Councillor Winters, go ahead.
For you again, Chair, to Jeff. I'm just reading here, it talks about fire prevention inspections and things that are going on. And I see about 200 inspections. That's strictly just Georgian Bluffs. That doesn't include the Meaford area, right? That used to pre-exist.
And we only do the Georgian Bus.
Okay, so we are now ready to move into closed session. So the recommendation that Council of the Township of Georgian Bluffs move into closed session at 2:16 p.m. in the council chambers with the acting clerk, fire chief, and HR manager remaining in the room to discuss labor relations or employee negotiations under open meeting exemption D of section 239(2) of the Municipal Act 2001 collective bargaining agreement grievance. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Councillor Winters, Deputy Mayor Keaveney, all in favor. That is carried. We are now in closed session, so we will just wait. We are now back in open session. The Intertownship Fire Department Board of Management went into closed session under open meeting exemption D of section 239(2) of the Municipal Act 2001. As a result of closed session discussions, direction was given to staff. So date of the next regular meeting will be July 11th, 2023 at 2 p.m. There is no further business. I will now call for adjournment of this meeting. I have a mover and a seconder. Deputy Mayor Pringle, Councillor Bartley, all in favor. That is carried. Thank you.